Now on to Stone Man. At the beginning you'll run into these hard hats that seem like everyday hard hats at first glance, but after getting hit they produce mini-me hard hats that bounce around like rubber. Fire like a madman, as these little guys can be a great source for power-ups. When you get here, fire at the floor by this wall. It'll break through and you can slide into this hidden area to find the G icon. There's another hidden area here that leads you to an M-tank. These robotic rats that scurry across the floor can be a pest when you're trying to stay low to avoid the bats. They can't be touched by irregular plasma shots at ground level, but a charged up Mega Buster shot will take them out. This extra life up here appears to be trapped behind this stone wall just like a Napalm Man's level, but if you use the boost from the rush coil, you'll spring up through this illusion wall so you can get it. Use the gravity hold to get all these assholes out of your way, and then ride across these platforms to get the E-tank up here. Head back to take a quick ride on this one again to respawn the platform so you can advance. Right here where Flip Top makes an appearance is another hidden area behind this rubble, which leads to a weapon and energy capsule. Not far from here is Stone Man, who attacks by firing 2 floating boulders that move in a circle, while he leaps across the room, falling to a million pieces before rebuilding. He'll attack this way consistently, or he'll sometimes just jump around like a fucking retard. Stay low, slide under his jumps, try to keep away from the boulders, and when he's close enough to you, fire off the napalm bomb, which will send him into his broken pieces form, which renders him invincible for the time being, so don't bother wasting your weapon while he's in this state. Eventually you'll take him out and you get the Power Stone, which like Stone Man's attack will send 2 boulders into a moving circle that separate until they veer off screen. It theoretically can hit any enemy on the screen, but the problem with this weapon is it's very hard to be accurate with it. Next up is Charge Man. You'll climb a ladder at the beginning that leads onto a train, which is where the rest of the level will take place on, or in. These hard hats that are built into these mini trains are basically the same as regular hard hats, except that they can move a little bit while closed up. Shoot at them when they open up like normal. You'll enter the train and battle mostly chickens, and bats and rats much like in Stone Man's level. In plain view up ahead is the other A icon, which is easily accessible with the rush coil or jet. Climb up to get back on the train and you'll see a long trail of spikes to your left. Take the rush jet across to get a nice extreme close-up of some lethal spikes. Seriously, what the hell is the point of this? Another ride on the train battling the locomotive hard hats and these weird dudes that fire balls out of their head, and you'll soon get to Charge Man. He's a stocky bastard that walks back and forth and never leaves the ground, so you'll have to constantly be jumping over his ass, which isn't always easy because he'll change direction whenever he feels like it. He'll stop, blow his whistle, and fire off some coal, which comes down in 3 pieces that are randomly scattered apart in terms of distance from each other. When he blows the whistle, he'll turn red and be immune to attack, so don't bother at that point. You're going to want to pay attention to the fallen coal anyway. He's also invincible when he decides to charge at you, so when he's making the rounds at regular speed, that's when you'll want to use your Power Stone. The only problem with this is that the Power Stone isn't the best weapon when it comes to aiming. I find that if he's at yay distance, or when jumping over him, you'll have your best chance at hitting him. After winning, you'll get one of the worst weapons in Mega Man history, second only to the top spin, the Charge Kick. You can't even fire anything, all you can do is take out some enemies when you slide, hence the kick part, which I don't understand how that applies to charging. It's not like Charge Man did any kicks. Why can't I have some kind of weapon involving hot coal or whatever? Fuck it. Moving on. Only 2 more robots to go, Wave Man being next. Watch the cracks in the water tanks. The stream of water will spill out when you get close to it. There are also these indestructible spike things that slowly roll in your direction. So trigger the water to come up so you can time your slide past it and jump over the spike thing. You'll come to a fork in the road where you can take one of 2 pipes down. Grab the energy capsule if you need it and go down the top one. It'll lead you to an extra life. Soon after, you'll take a bubble ride up. Stand on this large bubble and hop across these 2 smaller ones to the other large one. The smaller ones break after a short period of time after landing on it, so don't waste too much time. Then when you get up here, hop across again to the platform. If you take too long, you'll run head-on with an instant death spiked ceiling. Then you'll take a ride on a water bike. Here you'll encounter these stationary cone-shaped things at water level, flying fish, and Sniper Joes on their own bikes that come from either side. Because of this, you don't want to be leaning too far against the left side of the screen or you'll get blindsided, but you will want to lean more in that direction to see oncoming enemies easier. You'll also battle a mini-boss that pops in and out of the water firing energy balls. You want to take out the circle-shaped jewel on his forehead, for lack of a better word, to take him out. After he's destroyed, you'll get more riding around. Just keep your eyes peeled for the pair of fish that flop together, as the E icon will come up real fast. Be sure to grab it. You can't pause the game during this whole sequence, nor can you use any special weapons here. So make sure you don't have to take a piss or anything like that before you get on this bike. Right after you get off, you'll end up at Waveman's lair. His attack pattern is pretty basic. He'll harpoon the floor, causing a leak wherever you happen to be standing. Then he'll fire his harpoon and leap across the room, repeating the process over and over. The charge kick is his weakness, but you can really only get a clean shot at him when the leak isn't right in front of him and he's not backed against the wall, otherwise you'll take damage. The Mega Buster doesn't do quite as much damage, but its reliability advantage makes it work well against him. Charge up your shot when he's got his harpoon in the ground, and fire while he's in the air right after he lands. Either method you decide should destroy him and award you with the water wave, which is interesting because he didn't use any wave weapons the whole time. The water wave is another weapon with limitations, as it will only affect enemies on the ground or very low to the ground. Last but not least is Starman. This level is fun because you can really get high, and by that I mean you can jump really high due to the lack of gravity, being that this level is in outer space and all. Just don't fuck around with it too much at the very beginning because you'll get hit with a meteor shower. There are a decent amount of spikes in this level, so be careful with your moon jumping, especially in this part where it's enclosed pretty tightly and the M icon is suspended just below the spikes. Once you get it, you'll have all 8 letter icons and you can now use your little sidekick bird Beat. Soon after you'll get to a wide open area where you can finally enjoy your insane vertical leap. Aim at the eyes of these laser shooting robots to get them out of your way. Beat also can be very useful against this schmuck, and use gravity hold here where you'll get ambushed by all these flying fucks. These platforms here shift up and down, and are occupied by these rock launchers, so if you decide to try to leap way over them when the platform is up high, try your best to monitor where you're going to land, or else you might fall into the spikes. Not far from here is Starman. I know, this is a pretty short level. Starman's attack pattern is so complex, I don't even know if I could describe it to you without my brain exploding. He equips his star shield, moves around a bit, picks a spot, sometimes in midair, and lets it go very slowly. That's all he does the whole time, and it's not hard to avoid him, so he's another one you can easily take out with the Mega Buster. But his weakness is the water wave, which breaks right through the star shield, so whenever he lands, unleash the wave when you land back on the floor. Just don't jump too high or you won't have enough time to attack him. And speaking of jumping too high, don't you think it would have been a good idea to have spikes cased on the ceiling? They were all over the level, and it would actually make this boss battle more interesting, but oh well. After you finish him off, you'll realize the Star Shield is actually called the Star Crash for some reason. It's basically just another Mega Man shield weapon. Nothing indistinguishable about it, but it's at least better than the fucking charge kick. All 8 robots have been disposed of, and now it's on to Proto Man's fortress to do battle with your own brother. The first stage begins with several of these damn tigers. Blast them with a charged up Mega Buster, or you could find yourself in trouble. When you get to this open area of spikes, take the rush jet and keep it moving up so you can get over it. What Mega Man game would be complete without the appearing and disappearing blocks? There are 2 screens worth of this, so either memorize the patterns or just take the jet across to save the headache. Right at the main stretch are these weird fucking enemies that don't even try to hurt you. They just hover around you, even if you jump. I guess they're just there as a distraction, and they can't actually hurt you if you force contact, but this is more confusing than anything else. The boss is this green humanoid mounted onto a tank. He just fires and crawls, picking up speed with the more damage you do to him. Jump over him and his attacks and unleash the water wave until you wash him away. Level 2 starts off with 2 ladders that lead off screen. Wait for the spike things to roll out of your way, and if you have room for an M-Tank, go up the right ladder. Take out these little pricks and head up the illusion floor to grab the M-Tank. You'll have to go up the left side either way to advance. You'll end up on these small conveyor belts with some spikes above the copters that drop skulls down on you. You can shoot some of them, but if you can't reach, try to position yourself away from the skulls and let them pass over before jumping from belt to belt. Then slide under the crystal attacks from these Sniper Joes and blast them with the Mega Buster. The boss is the identical twin of the last boss, only he's on foot and has a pair of beams circling him, acting as a shield. All he does is walk around, doing damage to you by making contact, so all you have to do really is jump over him and create some distance for your attacks. His weakness is the crystal eye, so use this weapon on him, but keep in mind that he'll get faster the more you do damage to him. Although wouldn't you think that a robot would get slower after being weakened more and more? Oh well, it's a video game.